Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today, we're going to be watching a video about incel culture, the dangerous, apparently, and lonely world of incels. Incels are involuntarily celibate. That is what incels stand for. How are they happening? Why are they coming to fruition? Where are they coming from? We live in a time where we are more connected than ever. We are part of the global world, the new universe, which is called the internet. We may exist on Earth. However, we are actually living out our lives on the internet. And you can see that on social media platforms. The most popular people, the people who are visible online, have the most followers online. As we move towards the metaverse, as we move towards virtual reality, as we are beginning to be plugged into virtual reality, you will quickly notice and find out that if you do not have a following, if you do not have some level of fame or status, that you will be left behind. This is why even rich billionaires are ever increasingly coming to the forefront. They are coming out of the shadows to build followings, to build audiences. Why is this important? Because if you do not have a following or an audience, you will be a nobody. Nobody would want to be friends with you. Nobody would want to date you. And men are more likely to suffer than women because men are horny fuckers. They will shag any woman that, that as the saying goes, any hole's a goal, right? They will fuck anyone if they are horny enough. However, women have standards. Okay. I remember that there was this book that I read once, and he this is a hypothetical exercise that he carried out, but what he was saying is that a man will fuck anything, and a woman, even a 1 out of 10 woman on looks, on attractiveness, so a one being the least attractive woman, your chance, and you may be of average looks, but your chance of sleeping with her, even if you're above average, is still you still only have a 40% chance of sleeping with that woman, which I thought was hilarious. You know, that even the ugliest woman in the world still has some level of standards compared to most men in the world. However, yeah, so men are more susceptible to this, and ever increasingly, a new statistic came out just last year that 30% of men between aged 18 to 35 are not had sex in the last year, and these people aren't going to have sex in the future because they are deemed unattractive. They do not have the resources, the means to date. They don't. They are seen by society as nobody. They have no status. They have no resources, and therefore they bring nothing to the table. It used to be that men were assessed on their ability to earn money, to be breadwinners, but now, women work, so they don't need to look for they don't need to date for money per se. They now date for status. Okay, money still has a big part to play in status. However, um, women can afford to be more picky, but by being more picky, they now date within a small pool of men. They are in essence sharing a man. Whether they are the side piece, whether they are part of a harem, and whether they are part of a known harem or an unknown harem. Most women will rather turn a blind eye to this than actively kick up a fuss and go back to these incel men. But let's have a look. Let's see what is so dangerous about this trend of incels.
We've been investigating the hidden online world of incels.
I have not
I mean, can we just stop there and just admit that if you give someone the V for Vendetta mask, right, the Guy Fawkes mask, you already make him look like a creep, all right? Like, this person is already involuntary celibate. Has low self esteem. He's possibly on the brink of suicide, and then you make him wear this fucking clown mask. This fucking like the V for Vendetta mask. The Guy Fawkes mask is a sign of I'm gonna blow up the House of Parliament. Okay, like, you're already painting him out to be a potential terrorist threat. Um, like, give the guy a chance. You know what I mean? Like, just blur his face out. What happened to just blurring someone's face out? No, not only are we not going to blur your face out, we're gonna make you look fucking silly. So nobody gets sympathy. You can't get sympathy from someone while wearing that mask. I'm sorry, but the producers know what they're doing. They are trying to not give any sympathy to these incels. They are trying to paint them out to be mentally ill, weak-minded people. So of course these people don't have a fucking chance in the fight. Do you know what I mean? They are literally giving up on themselves. They are subjugating themselves to humiliation fetishes, and they are plotting their next move. They are lamenting together. They've given up. They are hopeless.
Interacted with a female that is not related to me in over 3 years.
They're mostly
In 3 years. So obviously, the pandemic had a big part to play on this. You weren't allowed out, and it kind of normalized not meeting people, not speaking to strangers. You weren't allowed to be in their space. You had to distance 2 meters away from each other, and it caused a very unhealthy way of living. And we are now seeing the after effects of a 2020 pandemic. Okay, incel culture has exacerbated since 2020, since the lockdowns have been lifted, and we are now seeing the effect. The other thing is most females friendships are different. They're more about sharing information, sharing feelings, sharing their state of feeling, their opinions on things, whereas men are more about coming together and doing a activity. And with the rise of video games, with more worried parents who don't let their children out of their house to play at playgrounds, to play in the park. It has created a whole culture of young men who are afraid to go outside of the house, who do not know how to socialize, who have social anxiety, and would rather sit at home, not interacting with the world. But when it comes to dating, most of them would like a romantic partner. Most of them would like to have a girlfriend. However, they have atrophied their social muscle. They do not have the ability to speak to strangers. They don't have the ability to converse with strangers, and that what it leads to is a generation of sexless men, of anxious men, of depressed men, desperate men. At some stage, this will turn outwards into hatred towards society, because depression is anger or rage turned inwards. Okay, I don't know where I read that. I can't remember who said it, but that is what depression is. It's rage turned inwards. At some stage, your body will repel that anger, that rage, and it will turn it outwards. And once it does, it can be very dangerous. I mean, you've seen many cases of school shootings in America. You've seen that case of Elliot Rogers, I believe, who is the most famous incel, who made that very famous video, who was a very handsome young man. He didn't he called himself ugly. He said nobody wanted to date him. He could have been the next Justin Bieber, for all we know. Okay. However, he had low self-esteem. He had a low self-image of himself, and we need to, as a society, help these young men. We need to help these people reach out, tell them that it is okay. We need to socialize them, reintegrate them into society. But it is getting more and more increasingly difficult, because we live in a society where it is hyper competitive, where you have to stand out. Most of humanity won't make it, right? I'm sorry. This may offend many people, but most of humanity won't make it, because most of humanity doesn't care about the actual issues. We just don't want them to explode. Basically, we don't want these people to implode, explode, just kind of sit there in the background, fizzle out. Don't commit suicide, don't blow anyone up, don't kill anyone, just kind of sit in your room, sedate yourself. And that is where the metaverse will come into play. That is where virtual reality will thrive, because it will allow enough mental stimulation for them to kind of pacify them. And then once we get the sex robots, I mean, it's a great, right, that then they can just go into their little room, into their little man cave, and fuck the robots. They can just literally just cum buckets and exhaust themselves. Then there won't be a danger, right? If you psychologically castrate a man, if you psychologically empty his life force, his essence, his semen out of his body, yeah, he won't have the fucking energy to do anything dangerous. As long as we sedate them, as long as these people are under control, which is what the elites want, which is what the plan is for you to be under control. They won't um, cause no harm to people, and then society won't give a fuck. Really, they will just fizz away. They will be the underclass. People will laugh at them, point at them. There'll be these, the boogeyman that you will use in the future to scare your children from, because eat your fucking vegetables or the incels will come and get you. Okay. That is where we are in society. We don't care about mental issues. We may say that we all care about mental issues. However, nobody is willing to actually reach out and help anybody when they have to.
Young men, usually virgins, who can't find a romantic or sexual partner.
I mean, being a teenager is hard enough. Being a virgin, the pressure to lose your virginity is quite hard. I myself was a young man, and all I wanted to do was fuck and lose my virginity. And now you have fucking documentary makers calling them virgins as well on camera. It doesn't help the problem. It doesn't help their mental health. Do you get what I mean? So now be before you may have been embarrassed for being a virgin, but now being a virgin means you're an incel. Okay, you've now loaded the word virgin, right, and associated it with the word incel. So of course you're driving these young men into despair, into depression, because you're saying, well, if you haven't fucked a woman yet, you're an incel and you're potentially a terrorist for it. Okay,
to become more attractive. It's my last chance.
I mean, well done for trying. At least this guy, you have to give him props. He's got bad posture, but he's in the gym. He is trying to gain weight, and you have to applaud it. You have to applaud it. You hope that a guy like this is able to pack on some muscle, and he's got definitely broad shoulders. He's got great traps. He's got good biceps there. Working your tricep and yeah, maybe just massage the neck a bit, loosen up the neck muscles, because you're kind of just like, yeah. And that what happens when you play a lot of video games. You kind of sit in this hunchback position. Get a decent haircut as well. A haircut can save lives.
But on the extreme end, some incels are becoming more menacing.
There was quite a few women that I did want to break their nose so they would be ugly.
I mean, I don't think that's an incel. I think that's more of a psychopath. Like I think people are just throwing all these criminal. Like if you're going around wanting to punch women in the face, you're literally a criminal, okay, and a psychopath. The problem that the first guy had, the Indian guy who's trying to build some muscle to make himself look attractive. You're now saying that person who's trying to work himself better on himself. And then this psychopath who's going around punching women in the face to make them ugly, you're putting him in the same bracket by calling them both incels. That they're not. An incel, right, is somebody who can't get laid, right? A person going around beating up women is a fucking menace to society, is a psychopath, is a that is the actual term, that is the actual word for a misogynist, right? You hate women. The other guy who's trying to build some muscle to attract a woman doesn't hate women. Okay, so it's a dangerous precedence that we're setting by calling both these people incels. And I like the fact that the first guy, they showed his face, right? The gym guy, the Indian guy, and then this other guy who's going around saying, "I'm gonna punch women in the face, be the next Elliot Rogers." They're gonna hide his identity, but people who watch the documentary, if they ever run into that guy, they're gonna stay away from him. Be like, oh, he's gonna fucking punch my daughter in the face. He's gonna punch my wife in the face. He's like, you're already fucking up people's lives here.
Staunch incels blame women and attractive men for the reason why they're not in a relationship.
Around 60 terror attacks that can be linked to incel actors.
We wanted to know who these incels were, what they believed in, and just how extreme it could get. In this two-part investigation, we gain access to a world that is usually closed off, especially to women.
I'm sorry, that world is not closed off. Those incels would love to date a woman, right? It's not closed off. It's like, but nobody wants to interact with them. And now look, a lot of these guys may be socially awkward. A lot of these guys may not be stereotypically attractive. A lot of these guys have self-esteem issues, but so does everybody else. Okay. However, most women who have self-esteem issues wear makeup to make themselves appear prettier. Okay, like they have to use it. And inside they might be dying. Inside they may want to, they may hate themselves, but they have the means and capabilities to make themselves look more attractive just by applying makeup. Now, for men, makeup is maybe building more muscle, right? And that takes hard work and dedication, and that's what makes it attractive, right? The struggle to build muscle, the ability to shape your body in that way is what is attractive. It's like that man can go out and do it, and you know you're not born a man, you make yourself into a man. You can't be you have to go from boy to manhood, and there has to be some sort of struggle, there has to be some sort of level of growth. But we've raised a generation of men to put cotton wool around themselves, to not try anything. We made it very easy, and now and these men then feel lost. They don't know how to go about to change their fate, to change their lives. And then they end up in these radical communities, in these radical forums online, telling them that it's the women of the fault of women and more attractive men. Instagram and social media has fucked things up for a lot of people. It has made things more difficult, but you need to rise to the challenge. You need to be able to do something about it. And if you do know any incels, if you think somebody may be an incel, the last thing that person needs is more negative stigma around them. Okay, we need to reach out to these people, we need to help them, we need to normalize their depression, their feelings. We need to be like, look, this is a phase you're going through, but there is a way out of it. Okay, the way out of it is for you to eat good food, eat healthy, work out, enjoy life, get hobbies, get enthusiastic about life again, socialize, right? Whether it's with your parents, with your cousins, with your family, with your friends, right? Do things with other people, okay? That's the only way to stop this incel epidemic, okay? Depression's on the rise, loneliness is on the rise. These things aren't just isolated to young men, except people are afraid of what these young men can do. My opinion is most of these young men won't do anything because that rage will just they may implode, they may they may end it themselves, right? Like, if you want to turn it dark. But I think this idea of them being terrorist threats is less likely. I mean, well, sure, one in a couple thousand, I guess, right? But like, if you see, I think at some stage the word incel will be a hate crime to call somebody an incel.
Before we start this story, we want to let you know that it contains violent and distressing content, including references to sexual violence and racist slurs.
Here we go.
We're on our way to meet 5 incels who we've been chatting to online for about a month now.
they make it sound like it's a country. Like, we're gonna go meet 5 Mexicans, we're gonna go meet 5 Swedish guys, we're gonna meet 5 incels. It's like that. It's already in the mainstream now. It's like it's being normalized. And the thing is, once something is mainstream, once something is normalized, there is this first outrage of, we don't understand it, what is this about? And then they'll be like, oh, okay, it's those weirdos that can't get laid. This is how it becomes dangerous, because we are normalizing their depression.
They usually chat to each other in forums and in servers, but today
that is what most people do, right? Most people do not have any friends anymore in real life. They are searching the internet for entertainment, for an outlet to their loneliness, for a conversation.
And they're letting us join. One of them, who we'll call Tom, is well known in the community for building a server, which is kind of like an online chat room. He's agreed to meet us first at a hotel.
I mean, you can tell that this guy is just very socially awkward, low self-esteem. The way he walked into the room, like, his body language was slumped. You can see, I don't know how old this guy is. 15 to 19, 20 maybe, like within that age range. So his body's still growing, his body's still adapting. He's got that, that skinny young guy frame. So, he's going through it. He's just growing up. And yeah, there will come a time where he will grow up, become an adult, hopefully. But this pressure for him to be a man is what is driving this, and he doesn't feel adequate. You can see the way he's playing with his hands is there is a he is not very socialized. He has social anxiety.
There is most likely not a single female on the planet that would be willing to date me.
How do you define what an incel is?
An incel is someone who is unable to get into a romantic relationship.
He's nervous to be on camera and has brought a mask with him to protect his identity.
Being an incel has become quite sensationalist. I am worried that openly identifying as such in public might affect job prospects.
You don't go around publicly claiming, "Hey, I'm Team Incel." Like you like what's going on? Like who? This is the other thing about I think like we have to label everything now. Do you get what I mean? Because it's not good enough to be just a man and a woman. It's like you have to be, oh, I'm fucking I'm this pronoun. I'm this. I stand for this community. I am an incel. It's like it's getting wild out there. It is crazy. Of course it's gonna fucking jeopardize your job prospects, because you like being an incel in one way is like saying that that you're a Nazi. Okay. Like that label you'll never shed. It's like nobody's gonna hire a Nazi. I mean, maybe. Maybe a secret brotherhood would, right? Like I don't know. These incels need to come together. They need to start building blue chip companies. They need to take over the world. Okay. We lived in a pretty fucked place. We live in a pretty fucked times. The only thing left, before it all goes down to shit, is for you to secure your life. For you to become famous. If you don't want to end up an incel, if you want to get laid, if you want to have the best dating life the world has to offer, you need to become famous. You need to have a celebrity status. You need to be somebody that people look up to. You need to have a point of authority. You need to be the point of authority. The way to do that, the way we do it here on Royal Instinct, is we build content, we rise to the top, we become social media influencers, we become kings. Okay. Once you are a king, you will get the best money making opportunity, you will get the best dating opportunities. Okay. And once you have all that, you'll be able to establish a kingdom, and then you will have a queue of women to date who want to be with you. If that is what you want, if you want to live a life of luxury, if you want to live life on easy mode, reach out. Let's see if we can work together. But that is it. Thank you very much. Do not be an incel. Reach out to people that you think might be an incel. Help them. Be kind to them. Communicate to them. Put them back into society. Let's re-socialize these people. But that is it. Thank you very much and goodbye.